Hey guys, happy Wednesday, happy hump day. Give me just a second. I was washing dishes and I noticed I got a little food on my hands, so I will be right back. Okay, I'm back. Uh-oh, didn't mean to do that. All right, there we go. Sorry about that. Hi, everybody. How's it going? How has your week been? How was your weekend? Let me know in the comments. For those of you who are just joining in, my name is Burjo. For short, Be Elise, because Be Elise Notary Services is my business name, and the Notary Education Group is my academy. So you are quite naturally tuning in because I go live every Wednesday to talk about business related and notary related tips and give you guys some educational information and I like to answer questions. The whole point of me doing this is so that you guys can come on here and ask questions. Now, today, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be talking about notary and fraud cases. All right. Let's see. I was trying to do something here. Didn't publish. I guess everything. I had did a new t-shirt design and I was publishing it. So yeah, I was waiting for that to happen. So let's see. I wanted to talk about a few fraud cases, and I saved them my OneNote, I do believe. Let's find my OneNote. There we go. Okay. Here we go. Here's the cases. And I think I'm going to have to share my whole screen for y'all to see it. Let's see. Hold on. How do I, oh, here we go. Testing, testing. Yeah, you guys can hear me. Good deal. So I'm going to wait a little bit to see if I can get a few of you guys on here because I don't want to be talking to myself. It defeats the purpose. I'm tired. I had a busy day. And I also, shoot, I'm supposed to set up that online notary for tomorrow. I got to remind myself to do that before I go to bed. Let's see. Set up online notary for 12:30. Check email. All right. Got to remind myself to do that. So yeah, if you guys are here and you're watching, drop a comment below. Let me know where you're joining in from. I would like to know who and where people are from who are tuning in. Check my email. This is the document I need. Can't do that on here, I don't think. Hold on, guys. I just want to reply to this email. And attach the photo. You can get a passport size photo from CVS or Walgreens, I believe. Hope I spelled that right. Hi, Jay. Finally, I got someone. How are you? How's your week been? How was your weekend? Hold on. Did I download? Oh, shoot. Did I download this document? Hold on, I'm multitasking over here. No, I did not. I need to download these documents. Oh, I was waiting for people to jump on before I jump into these notary fraud cases that I located and posted here on my OneNote. I got about 7 cases, 7 notary cases of fraud. All right, good. I'm glad to hear that. I have been good. I have been booked and busy, and I'm grateful for it. And I've been tired because of it too, okay? The appointments start early in the morning and they end late in the day. And yeah. Yeah, Jay, it is. And I just stopped. I got tired of looking, is what it was. I found quite a bit, and some are current and some are in the past, but they're there, and you can find them online. So I kind of just stopped there. So yeah, I'm looking forward to sharing them with you guys. I'm going to share my screen, and we're going to take a look at them and talk about it. Let me see if all my shirts published. Finally. Oh no, these didn't though. What the heck? Why are these not publishing? Let's publish. Confirm. All right. It is still relevant. Yeah, because it just goes to show that these are real. Like, we have too many people who do not take the role of notary, serious. They become a notary and all they think about is, all of these different videos of people saying they can make 6 figures and all of this stuff. And people are thinking about the money and they're not thinking about the severity of the role, and you can get in some big trouble, and sadly, most of them are the same. Different people, different notaries, different situations, but they all lack one important factor. So, yeah. Hold on just a second. Looking at these shirts. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And then we're going to get into it. Share screen. I don't have 2 monitors down here, so you guys just going to see the whole screen. All right, so here we go. Case number 1. All right, so here is case number 1. This was posted November 13th of last year. A complaint was filed against a notary after an 80-year-old claims she lost property by signing blank paper. Now, we all know the first rule, okay? Well, it's not the first rule, but we do know that that is one of the do not do, okay, in the state statutes is that we don't notarize blank documents. Okay, and it's a good reason for that, because if you notarize a blank document, the person can fill in anything after the fact, you know. So let's go ahead and read the story here. So we have a Dover woman who claims she lost control of her property after signing a blank piece of paper, has filed a complaint with the state about the notary public who was involved in the transaction. Excuse me. The 3.5-acre piece of land with a small home on it was inherited by the 4 children of the previous owners. According to a number of online sites, it is worth about $250,000. Susan Eatman, one of 2 surviving heirs, says she was approached by Mark Oliver earlier this year. According to Eatman, Oliver asked her to sign a blank piece of paper to show good faith in his request to lease part of the land. Eatman says she repeatedly told him no, but eventually relented and signed the paper. Eatman claims her signature ended up on a quit claim deed that allowed Oliver to replace her name on the deed with his name. According to Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office investigators, Oliver was seen in April on surveillance video filing the document at a county office. Oliver has declined multiple requests for comment and denied he did anything wrong in court documents related to a civil lawsuit Eatman filed. Eatman and her boyfriend, Randy Locklear, have been fighting for months to get the property back in her name, but almost gave up before turning to 8 on your side. Hate to deal with it, thought about saying just forget it, Locklear said. We can't do that, not when somebody does this to you. State law requires quitclaim deeds to be notarized and signed in the presence of 2 witnesses. All right? Remember that, guys. Eatman filed a complaint with the notary section of the Office of the Governor alleging notary Gaby Doherty violated several regulations. That's another point to remember. We can have complaints filed against us, guys, okay? Don't forget, all the person has to do is contact the notary section of the Office of the Governor in any state and file a complaint, all right? And after a complaint is filed, an investigation commences, all right? Now, it says here, witnesses were not present for the signing, but were added later. The complaint states, a sheriff's office offense report containing details of an interview with Doherty states, she acknowledged the witnesses were not present when the document was signed. Doherty has not responded to requests for comment. She has not been charged with the crime. Eatman also alleges the notary lied about the parties providing driver licenses during the process. She said, that I showed her my driver's license. Eatman said, I didn't even take it out of my purse. So the notary said that the signer did show her driver's license, but the signer says she didn't even take it out of her purse. The incident was investigated by the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office and was passed on to the state's attorney for review of alleged charges of grand theft, first degree, and uttering a forged document. A state's attorney spokesperson said the case is active, but there are no charges. Oliver has declined multiple requests for comment. In court paperwork tied to Eatman's civil lawsuit, he denied he did anything wrong and claimed he paid Eatman's sister, Jacqueline White, $40,000 and provided other services for her. White, whose name was also removed from the deed, lives in the home on the property. She has not responded to requests for comment. You are right, Jay. This is why a journal is important. Oliver's attorney, Bryant Camerino, emphasized Oliver has not been charged with any crime. Eatman said she never wanted to sell the property and did not receive any compensation after her name was removed from the deed. Locklear said he came within minutes of stopping the transaction with a notice of revocation, but arrived at the clerk's office right after the quitclaim paperwork was filed. We've done everything we could possibly do, but it's really, really been nerve-wracking. Locklear said, it's been terrible. I have gone without sleep for months. Let's see if it's any more. All right, so the reason why, I'm gonna stop sharing my screen right quick. The reason why I wanted to share these cases with you guys is because I've been seeing so much information floating around online, and this just proves my point. Now, We just read this case, okay? I got to get my off the table because my table's so wobbly. Now, quitclaim deed is supposed to be signed by the principal signer and 2 witnesses, all right? Now, let's just say the signer, wanted to say, no, I didn't sign no quitclaim deed. Let's just say they wanted to contact the witnesses. In our support Facebook group, I posed the question of how many people are not IDing witnesses, right? And everybody said, well, in our state statute, it says that we are not required to ID witnesses. When you say that out loud to yourself, do you see how it sounds? It sounds kind of bad because you're not helping anybody by not IDing the witness. Any person whose signature is going to be upon a document needs to be ID'd. Why? Because if that document is ever called into question or if it needs to be contested in court, they are going to want to talk to all the bodies that were physically present during the signing of this document. So if you have no information for the witness, that means that they're not going to be able to contact the witnesses. And the witnesses can play a very important part in verifying not only did the notice make sure that the signer was willing and aware, but did the witnesses notice that? You witnessed the person's signature. Did you think that this person wasn't willing? Do you think this person wasn't aware at the time? This is why they want 3 witnesses for the signatures upon some documents. The notary and 2 other witnesses that have no beneficial interest and are not listed as a party in the document. Okay, I know the state statute says anyone whose signature will be notarized should be ID'd, but it is a best practice that anybody whose signature is going to be on that document needs to be ID'd. I need to know that you are who you say you are as well, because you are going to sign my journal. You're signing the document, you're going to sign my journal. If this transaction is ever called into question, I need to make sure that I have as much information as I can to help them. It does not help by you being naive and saying, well, the state said I didn't have to do it. Who cares? The state also doesn't say it's against the law for you to ID every signatory on the document. So this case, rest my case. Let's go on to the next one. I'm gonna share my screen. All right. Let's go back to my OneNote. And we got case number 2. All right. Excuse me. This one says, how predator defrauded vulnerable victims in Miami's Coconut Grove, according to prosecutors. Notary accused of fraud released on bond. I'm sorry if y'all hear my cat. When she feels like nobody is here, she starts doing that. Bubbles, I'm right here. Hush. All right. So let's get into this. Miami Nerelis Leva, who investigators said was working as a receptionist at a doctor's office when she met her fraud victims, appeared in court on Wednesday in Miami-Dade County, according to prosecutors. I wanted to see the date on this, though. Oh, here we go. The date on this case, guys, is August 2nd, 2023. The other case was in 2023 too, right? All right, so let's keep reading here. State Attorney Catherine Fernandez Rundle identified Leva as a predator and Rita Benet as her co-conspirator in a plot to defraud 2 vulnerable senior residents of Miami's Coconut Grove neighborhood. During a conference on Tuesday, Fernandez Rundle said Leva, 45, visited the home under the pretext of checking her victim's blood sugar levels and eventually moved in with an adult and a minor. Hold on, guys. All right. Once Leva began exercising dominion over her victim, the bank withdrawals went up. Fernandez Rundle said, adding that aside from access to a bank account, she also plotted to steal a $2 million house. Wow. Leva hired Benet, 59, a notary with American International Business and Associates, to work on the documents used to take ownership of all of the victim's assets, including the house at 3200 Calusa Street, according to Fernandez Rundle. The 82-year-old victim who signed the documents, giving everything to Leva, had dementia. I want you guys to remember these key facts, okay? She had dementia, was critically ill, and his partner had died in 2021, according to Fernandez Rundle. Benet knew that our victim was incapable of understanding what these documents were and what these documents meant for him and his property, Fernandez Rundle said. Leva aimed to sell the $2 million house for $1.6 million, but an alert neighbor reported the fraud after the victim died in 2022, according to Fernandez Rundle. Police officers arrested Benet and Leva on Tuesday. Benet and Leva were both facing charges of exploitation of the elderly, grand theft on a person over 65 or older, and organized scheme to defraud. Excuse me. Benet was also facing 2 counts of notary fraud, and Leva was also facing charges of criminal use of personal identification information and unlawfully filing a false document. Corrections released Bennett on a surety $110,000 bond on Wednesday, and Leva remained at the Turner Guilford Knight Correctional Center, held on a $120,000 bond, pending a Nebia hearing to verify the bail source, records show. Bennett's arraignment hearing is set for August 31st. Circuit Judge Javier Enriquez is presiding over the cases. Fernandez Rundle asks anyone who suspects elderly exploitation in Miami-Dade to call the task force at this number, and she also asks property owners to use this fraud alert registration program. So let me stop sharing. Yeah, Jay, they do. So first and foremost, guys, when you are performing your notarial duties, another important factor, I'm not going to say the first, another important factor is assessing for willingness and awareness. If a person has dementia, they cannot make any legal, what's the word I'm looking for? Any legal, what's the word I'm looking for, Jay? I'm lost with my words. God, why am I can't think of the word I'm looking for. They cannot make any, why can't I think of the word? They can't sign legal documents. All right. They can't do anything. You know, they are most likely going to have a power of attorney. Nope, not that. Legal. If you're not willing and aware, you can't make any legal decisions. Yeah, decisions. They can't make any legal decisions for themselves, which means that they cannot sign legal documents. Okay, they have dementia. Most times, people are placed under a guardianship for that. They may have a power of attorney that makes decisions on their behalf, but people with dementia, we can't notarize documents for them at all. All right. So the one count there of notary fraud, okay, that's that. And then what is the other notary fraud, do you think, for this case? Let me look here. They say that she's facing 2 counts of notary fraud. I'm trying to find where they said that at. Yeah, 2 counts of notary fraud. She's facing 2 counts of notary fraud. And then what is a nebia hearing? I want to see. And a bail sufficiency requirements of the bond, also known as a nebia. Nebia hearing, bail source hearing, or bail sufficiency hearing. Basically, the burden of proof is on the defendant and his or her family to show that the collateral money paying the bond is from legitimate source. The nebia hold requires the defendant and co-signers of the bond to produce and disclose the source of bill, premium, and collateral. Okay, so it says a nebia hearing. Let me see. It is a bail source hearing or 1275 bail sufficiency hearing. Basically, the burden of proof is on the defendant and his or her family to show that the collateral and money paying the bond is from a legitimate source. Okay, so pending a nebia hearing. Gotcha. All right. So, not being willing and aware, taking advantage of a person with dementia. Like, we're not supposed to sign and notarize documents for those people because they can't do it, and that's not fair. You're taking advantage of them. It's not fair. They don't understand what's going on. They, just can't. So, yeah, we don't want to do that. All right, guys. And this is for people who are under the influence of drugs too. You go to a hospital, if a person has had a procedure or they have just been medicated, they cannot legally make decisions for themselves. You need to wait, or you need to get a doctor written consent that this person is able to make legal decisions for themselves and sign paperwork that are of a legal manner. All right. Now we're going to go on to case number 3. And remember, if you are watching and you haven't made yourself, present, Jay, I know Jay's watching. I see 2 other people watching, but I don't know who you are. So please make sure that you drop your name or say hi in the comments. I'm going to share my screen. We're going to go to case number 3. All right, let's see. Case number 3. And this one, God, 2023 was the year, huh? So this case is from February 2023. Notary charged in connection with Hialeah police alleged kidnapping, beating of homeless man. Wow. A notary public has been charged in connection with the kidnapping and beating of a homeless man that landed 2 Hialeah police officers and a civilian behind bars. And I cannot pronounce this name. Juan Pretocofino, 51, was arrested last month on a charge of false or fraudulent acknowledgement by a notary public, according to a recently released report. The arrest is connected to the arrest last month of a Hialeah police officers Rafael Otano and Lorenzo Orfila and civilian Ali Amin Saleh. I probably messed those names up. Apologize, but let's keep going. The officers were charged with armed kidnapping and battery, and Orfila is also charged with official misconduct in connection with the December arrest of Jose Ortega Gutierrez. Ortega Gutierrez, who was homeless, was placed in handcuffs and put in the back of a Hialeah police car at a shopping plaza on West 60th Street, despite surveillance footage from the scene not showing a reason for him to be taken into custody, officials said. Authorities said the officers took Ortega Gutierrez to an isolated location where he was beaten and thrown to the ground while still handcuffed. Ortega Gutierrez said he lost consciousness and woke up unhandcuffed, alone and bleeding from his head. He started walking and happened to come across an off-duty Hialeah police officer who was walking his dog and called 911 for him. He told police what had happened to him and was taken to a hospital for treatment. Days after the incident, Ortega Gutierrez said he was approached by Saleh, who he said identified himself as a private investigator and offered him $1,200 in cash to sign an affidavit that he had been arrested for drinking and hadn't been beaten by the officers, authorities said. Ortega Gutierrez said he doesn't know how to read and didn't know what was in the affidavit, but signed it and took the money because he's homeless, officials said. According to an arrest report, Tocofino has been a notary public for about 2 years and works next to Soleil. Tocofino said he was approached by Soleil to notarize the affidavit, which he did without the presence or permission of Ortega Gutierrez, the report said. Orfila and Otano have been fired by the department. Both appeared at a court hearing Tuesday to seek bond while they await trial. The lead detective who put the officers behind bars testified on the stand and under oath. Where did I leave off at? Oh, defense attorneys argued their clients were innocent, with attorney Michael Peasy representing Otano, stating that there was zero evidence of his client kidnapping anyone. Defense attorney Stephen Lopez, who was representing Soleil, argued that the prosecution had no good faith basis. Prosecutors said they have GPS evidence showing the route taken by the officers to the remote location where Gutierrez was allegedly beaten and left. A 911 call that led to the police response was also played in court. Defense attorneys questioned the criminal history of the victim and accused the lead detective of leaving out information in the warrants that could have helped the defendants. Pizzi pointed out that Gutierrez was allegedly drunk at the shopping center and changed his story multiple times. The lead detective stated that the information was not excluded, but simply not deemed important for the warrant. All right, so that kind of doesn't go into what this fraud was about, but here, I'm going to highlight here. Tocofino has been a notary public for about 2 years and works next to Soleil. He was approached by Soleil to notarize the affidavit. Now, this is a big thing, and unfortunately, we have people who know us. They know we're notaries, and they will try to play upon your kindness and friendship to do something illegal. We all know that in order for us to notarize documents for people, they have to be willing, they have to be aware, they have to be physically present. Okay? He did none of that. He just gave his friend a document because they're both notary buddies. Like, yeah, you my friend, you know you could trust me. I got this document that was signed by a guy. The police officers, they giving me a little money to get this affidavit signed for them. And I just want you to sign it and notarize it for me because I can't notarize it, right? So the guy notarizes document for him. No one, you can't do that. But they're like, we boys, No. I will tell you guys a story. I am a medical assistant by trade, and I used to be a dialysis technician for a few years. I think like 3.5 years, I think I did it. And so I worked with a person and we became, cool. We weren't close buddy, but we were cool. So the person found out that I was a notary. And since the last time I saw that person, they are now doing home improvement. And so they needed a permit notarized. Many places need a permit in order for you to do any work to the home. And so these permits have to be notarized and they have to be filed with the county. So the person contacts me, hey, how you doing? How you been? How's family? And I'm like, hey, I'm doing good. I'm like, hey, you still doing notary? They're like, no, I'm not. And that's kind of why I called you. And I'm like, oh, okay, what's up? I see you're a notary now. I'm like, yeah, I am, and they asked me a little bit about how that works and everything. And so they're like, yeah, so I do home improvement now. And I'm working on this person's house. And you know what? They done went out of town. I had them sign a permit, but they didn't get the permit notarized. So I have the permit and they're out of town. I just want to know if you can notarize this permit for me. And so I'm like, well, no, I can't notarize it unless that person who signed the document is present. Yeah, I know, he out of town. I don't know when he's going to be back, but I just want to get started with the work. Do you think maybe you can call him and he can tell you? I know, right? Do you think maybe you can call him and, he could tell you that this is his signature and then you can notarize it for me so I can take it to the county? And I'm like, no. So what I can do is we can notarize online, and then you can use it that way. That way, wherever he's at, as long as he can get on his phone or his tablet or computer, I can notarize it for him online. Just let him know that, and then, give me a call back. He like, yeah, I was just kind of hoping, since you know me, that you would just do it for me. I said, no, my commission is not worth that. I'm not about to lose my commission for doing something like that, because let's just say maybe the person wanted to think on it a little bit. You're working on their house. Maybe they wanted to think about it and go out of town and then come back and then maybe have you start the work. Who's to say maybe they said they didn't want to work with you at all, and then I signed this document because I think you my friend or whatever, and then you work on this person's house and now I'm screwed and I'm in court. No, I'm not doing that. So yeah, they tried it. So they were like, okay, well, I'll call them and let them know you could do it online. I'll call you back. Never called me back. So yeah, don't let your friends play on your heartstrings and get you in trouble. Okay. Let's go on to the next case. All right, that was 3, right? So case 4 now. All right, here's case 4. All right. This case occurred in January of 2022. Village's notary accused of notarizing fraudulent document related to dead person's bank account. Excuse me. The Village's criminal defense lawyers, Whittle and Melton. All right, so let's read this one. A 51-year-old Wildwood notary was arrested at the end of 2021 for her alleged involvement in notarizing a document for a dead person's bank account. She was charged with a felony, false certification by a notary, after she was interviewed at the Sumter County Sheriff's Office Public Safety Building at Pinellas Plaza in the Villages. Wow, that's a big handful, right? It's like, oh my goodness. All right. Just what is the woman accused of? She allegedly notarized a document on August 12th, not in the presence of the person whose signature she was notarizing, according to the Sumter County Sheriff's Office report. The woman apparently never met the person whose signature she was notarizing and signed the document and stamped it with her notary stamp and seal. The document in question was then used to withdraw funds from the deceased family member's bank account, according to the arrest report. The woman was arrested and booked at the Sumter County Detention Center. She has since been released after posting $2,000 bail. A notary, also known as a notary public, is someone who has the duty to witness the signing of legal documents, such as trust deeds, licenses, etc. A notary is publicly commissioned official who has the task of verifying the authenticity of legal documents to deter fraud, as well as serving as an impartial witness when legal documents are signed. Legal documents are required to be notarized to make sure that the transactions are conducted properly and that no fraud is committed. Notaries serve as a person who can verify the authenticity of documents and make sure that all parties involved are entering into agreements knowingly and willingly. Being a notary carries inherent risk. One careless mistake could easily lead to criminal charges. The following are just a few ways a notary can land themselves in hot water. Notarizing a document when the signer is not present. Failing to properly ID the signer. Incomplete certificates. Failing to record all notarizations. Allowing someone else to use your notary tools. Overcharging for notary fees. Offering legal advice. Continuing to notarize documents once your commission expires. All right, so I'm going to stop sharing my screen here. So guys, these fraud cases are just, it's amazing. It really is, because we know this. Like the mistakes that they're making is nothing serious. I'm sorry, it is serious. It's nothing hard. They're not making hard mistakes. They're making easy mistakes. Knowingly not identifying the person, not requiring the person to be physically present. You cannot notarize documents if you have the person who signed not in front of you. Like I don't understand. I don't understand why we work so hard to become a commission official to mess it up. And then you mess it up and you get penalized, you got fines, you go to jail. Like this stuff is not a joke. It's not. You need to ID people. The person signing needs to be physically present. Okay? There is no exception to those rules. None. All right. Let's go on to the next case, guys. I'll share my screen again. We did 4 cases. Let me close some of these windows. Let me look and make sure my shirts got published. All right, my shirts were published. Okay, I can close that window. All right, let's go ahead and look at some more cases. We did 4. We're going to go on to case 5. All right, case number 5. Here we go. All right. 9 investigates notary for FHP, arrested for fraud, brings other documents into question. All right. 9 investigates discovered that a records technician working for the Florida Highway Patrol was arrested for fraud involving her role as a notary. Investigators believe Keisha Banks notarized a document that was used to enroll a child in school, even though she knew it might have contained a forged signature. The document raises more questions about other documents Banks may have handled at the Florida Highway Patrol. That's what FHP stands for. It strikes at the very heart of what a notary is about, said WFTV legal analyst Belvin Perry. Investigators believe that in August, Banks brought someone into the Highway Patrol office in Orlando where she worked and notarized a document she knew might have a forged signature. Oh, and let me just go back. This case happened in November of 2016. All right, so let's start reading again. Here we go. Records show the notarized document was a temporary guardianship form brought in by a woman, but a girl's father told investigators he had never signed off on it, and the signature on it was a forgery. The form was used to enroll the child in school. So it's going into question a number of documents, and people are going to go back and look at them and say, the documents coming from this person, are they the real deal? Said Perry. Perry said the big problem is the unknown. What type of documents did Banks notarize, and could she have mishandled Florida Highway Patrol case documents? Channel 9's Jeff Deal reached out to the Highway Patrol and asked what her exact role was, and if there's concern this could affect cases. The Florida Highway Patrol said it is still investigating. Banks is off the job and has been recommended for termination. The third-degree felony she's facing can carry up to 5 years in prison. Charging documents show all she got in exchange for the crime was a haircut for her son. Oops. All right. So, gonna stop sharing my screen. All right. So, guys, this is another issue. So, yeah, I know, Jay. We have to be very careful when it comes to parents notarizing documents, giving consent or permission as well, because you don't know what the situation could be. Now, it sounds like maybe the mom was trying to get a document notarized to put her child in the school without the dad knowing, okay? Forged the dad's signature. The dad's like, that's not my signature. Hopefully that notary had records, but they said that she knowingly knew. So it was probably the case of a friend asking for a favor and the notary saying, all right, you my girl, I'm gonna do this for you. It's not worth it, guys. Now she gotta go to jail for 5 years because the dad, he probably pissed and want to file charges. Like, nah, because that ain't my signature, and who knows what's going on with them. I'm assuming the notary was friends with the girl. So once again, not the guy's signature, forged signature. She probably knew that her friend signed the dad's name. She notarized and the dad was not present, nor was he willing or aware, and no ID. These are simple mistakes that have serious charges, guys. Like, is it worth it? Jay, it wasn't worth it, right? It's not worth it. And if they're your real friend, they're not gonna get you in trouble. They think that our little notary stamp don't mean nothing. But being a notary is serious, guys. We have to take our role as commissioned notaries serious. All right, let's go on to case number 6. Oh, these cases are getting me bothered. All right, case number 6. Okay. This is from February 2022. Let me see though. All right, so I'm not going to read all of this. What I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to read the parts that's important because it's pretty long, as you can see. All right, so let's see. Jeffrey is personal representative of the state of Janice. Darren for appellant. Okay. Appellant Jeffrey, personal representative of the state, challenges an order granting a new trial after a jury verdict in favor of the estate. The jury awarded damages to the estate for the negligence of appellee, a notary, who notarized a forged deed which conveyed the deceased property. The trial court determined that appellant had not proved that appellee's negligence in notarizing the deed was a proximate cause of appellant's damages. Because the forged deed was void, it had an invalid legal description. We reverse as the notarization allowed the deed to be recorded and was thereby a proximate cause of the damage to the estate. Let's see. Shabel's sister, Joyce Johnson, owned a home in Pembroke Pines at the time of her death in 2008. She left the home to Shabel, who allowed Joyce's daughter, his niece, Janice, to live there rent-free, so long as she paid expenses such as taxes and utilities. For 2 years thereafter, Janice lived in the home with her boyfriend, Audley Brown. Shabel then transferred the property to Janice with a quitclaim deed. Janice and Brown continued to live there until Janice's death in June 2015. Janice passed away interstate, and Shabel was appointed personal representative of Janice's estate. Shabel discovered that in October 2015, Brown sold the property to third-party purchasers. Okay, this is just the boyfriend. To Shabel's knowledge, Brown had never owned the property, so the boyfriend doesn't even own the property. However, further investigation revealed a quitclaim deed dated February 9th, 2015, transferring the property from Janice to Brown. The deed had been notarized by appellee Nia Richardson, a notary, and was recorded July 8th, 2015, a month after Janice's death. On July 28, 2015, a quitclaim deed marked corrective deed was recorded. It appears to be the same quitclaim deed as was recorded on July 8th, with a lengthier legal description attached. It was neither re-executed nor re-notarized. Finally, a third warranty deed dated October 26, 2015, and recorded the following day, transferred the subject property from Brown to the third-party purchasers. After discovering these facts, Shabel filed suit as personal representative of Janice's estate against multiple parties, including Richardson. He claimed damages against Richardson for her negligence in notarizing the deed in the absence of Janice's presence or without properly ascertaining the identity of the individual signing the deed. The case proceeded to trial on the claim against Richardson after the claims against the other defendants were settled. At trial, Shabel presented a case that the deed was forged and that Richardson had been negligent in notarizing the deed without properly ascertaining the identity of the person signing it. The original deed and corrective deed were admitted into evidence. A handwriting expert testified that the signature on the deed was not written by Janice. Schibel testified about his relationship with Janice and how he discovered the quitclaim deeds and sale of the property. A real estate appraiser testified as to damages. Richardson moved for a directed verdict, contending that she did not notarize the corrective deed and it was void. She was therefore not the cause of any loss. Richardson is the notary, guys. The trial court denied the motion. Richardson then testified as to her pattern and practice of notarizing documents. She had no memory of notarizing the document and admitted that she did not record the entire driver's license number of the signatory, although it was her usual practice to do so. She also admitted to differences between the signature and the name on the driver's license. After resting, Richardson moved for directed verdict again, which was denied. The jury was instructed, deliberated, and awarded the estate $247,000 in damages. Wow. After trial, Richardson, the notary, moved to set aside the verdict and in the alternative for a new trial, arguing that she was not a proximate cause of injury to the estate. Schibel also moved for adhere or a new trial as to damages. Wow. The trial court issued an amended order granting Richardson a new trial. The court based its ruling on 3 independent grounds. The original deed was a forgery and void. Thus, the actions of defendant Richardson are of no consequence. The original deed had an incomplete legal description which rendered it void, and the legal description in the deed was corrected without re-executing the corrected deed and without the appropriate formalities. Thus, it was ineffective to convey an interest in property. The court also found that Richardson had nothing to do with the correction of the legal description, the failure to execute the corrected deed with appropriate formalities, or the re-recording of the deed. The court denied Schibel's motion for adhere, or in the alternative for a new trial on damages only as moot. Wow. All right, so, okay, I'm gonna keep reading because I can't skip, because if I skip, then we're not gonna be all on the same page. Let me look and see if anybody's, let me see. Okay, I don't have any comments. All right, let me keep reading. Schibel argues that the evidence proves all the elements of negligence, and the court erred in granting the motion for new trial. While an abuse of discretion generally applies to review of orders granting a new trial, an appellate court reviews a trial court's conclusions of law, de novo. To prove a cause of action for negligence, a plaintiff must prove that the defendant had a legal duty of care to the plaintiff. The defendant breached that duty. The breach proximately caused the plaintiff's injury, and the plaintiff incurred damages as a result. As a notary, Richardson had a statutory duty to have satisfactory evidence, and that the person whose signature is to be notarized is the individual who is described in and who is executing the instrument. Further, Section 117.107 provides that a notary public may not notarize a signature on a document if the person whose signature is being notarized is not in the presence of the notary public at the time the signature is notarized. The breach of that statutory duty creates liability when it is the approximate cause of the damages sustained by the plaintiff. There was sufficient evidence to show that Richardson breached her statutory duty. The court, in its ruling, focused on the proximate cause of the loss to Schibel and determined that Richardson could not be the proximate cause. The test for proximate cause is contained within the standard jury instructions. Negligence is a legal cause of loss, injury, or damage if it directly and in natural and continuous sequence produces or contributes substantially to producing such loss, injury, or damage. So that it can reasonably be said that but for the negligence, the loss, injury, or damage would not have occurred. In this case, in order for the forged quitclaim deed to be recorded, it was required to be notarized. Without the notarization of the original quitclaim deed, neither it nor the corrective deed were entitled to be recorded. Without recordation of the original quitclaim deed, title of the property would not pass to Brown and subsequently to the third-party purchasers. Thus, the negligence of Richardson in failing to properly identify the person signing the deed directly and in natural and continuous sequence contributed or produced the damage, the loss of Janice's property. We're going to stop there. Whew. Oh, wait, hold on. All right, guys, so I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Again, the notary failed to keep record, failed to ID and make sure that that person is the person who's supposed to be signing this document. The ID and that name on that quitclaim deed was not the same, which means that that person who came before her was not supposed to sign that quitclaim deed. Because she notarized that fraudulent quitclaim deed and did not follow proper protocol, it calls for the other two to be recorded. In order for the other two to be recorded, the first one had to pass. The first one passed because the notary failed to do her job. All right? We have to ID people. We got to ID everybody. And don't just ID them. Make sure that they are the person listed to sign the document. This is why when you get the documents, you need to review them. And if a person has a problem with you reviewing the documents before you notarize them, don't notarize them, because that in itself is suspicious. Why can I not review the documents to make sure that everything is, complete? I got to make sure there's no blanks. I got to make sure the name listed in the document is you standing before me. Because if it's not, I'm not notarizing your signature on here. You're not even supposed to be the person signing. These are all things that we have to pay attention to. Okay? We're going to go to the last case. Let me share my screen. And I really hope that if there is anyone watching this recording after the fact, please leave comments. I want to hear what you guys think about all these cases. Hi, Shanika. We are just reviewing fraud cases that involve notaries, and I'm about to read the last one. All right. We're going to go to, oh, wait, hold on. And Jay is saying hello back. All right, let's go on to our last case for the night. Woo, these cases, boy. All right. Is it supposed to be a case? What's this? Hold on. 3/10/2016. Maybe it was their blog. Oh man. I don't know what link I am. Okay, let's put in notary. Because other than that, I don't have any more cases to share. Let me see what case I was trying to share from this site. It said three. Oh wait, is this the one? Let me see. It said 3/10/2016. Is this the one? No, it says 3/2/2016. I don't know which one it is, guys, but as you can see, there's a bunch of articles here for fraud. How about I type in 2016 310? Let's see if it brings up anything. If not, then that's pretty much. Let me see. Yep, I don't know. I don't know what the link was, so I apologize. So we talked about 6. Oh, Shanika says she notarized something today. You still get kind of nervous. You know, Jane, well, why do you get nervous? Do you get nervous that you're going to make a mistake, or do you get nervous because you don't want it to be a fraud case? Like, what makes it so scary for you, make you nervous? I want to know. Anytime I am about to notarize a document, I am just very, very thorough, because usually I'm a talker. You know what I'm saying? I talk a lot. You guys probably could tell that from watching my videos. I do the same thing when I'm with my signers. But one thing I try to make sure of is that I be very careful in reviewing the documents, because they could be engaging in conversation with me to prevent me from seeing something that may halt me from continuing on with the notarization. So for me, I kind of feel you on the nervousness. I don't get nervous anymore, but when I first started, it was always, is this a true document that I'm notarizing? Because so many people are so good with scam and fraud, and I don't want anybody to ever bring me something that I notarized and it was fraudulent. I try to make sure I do really good notes in my journal. If there's anything suspicious or anything out of the ordinary, I try to make sure I make notes, because without a doubt, if everything looks good, technically I can proceed with notarization. But that doesn't mean that I should not take notes if I feel anything is a little off. Okay, like everything checks out, but let me just make some extra notes, right? So I totally feel you, Shanika. I do. Well, that was all the cases that I had. Did you guys have any questions about those cases? I think the biggest takeaway tonight for all of those cases is, oh wait, let me read what Shanika said. It's a lot of things really. I had a guy ask me to notarize something. He had his expired ID. He had a pic of his ID that expires 2031. Okay. So what did you do in that situation? Good job. Yeah, I bet he did get mad. Yeah, we can't notarize for you and you have a picture of your ID. All right. Now, what I can do is, if you're in a state where you can use credible witness, I'm in Florida. If you want to find 2 people who know you who will sign a affidavit stating that they can vouch for your identity, then I can go ahead and notarize it for you. But if you don't have that, I'm sorry, I can't proceed. My commission is worth way more than you getting this one thing done. I'm sorry. That's what I people don't understand. Like, I'm a full-time notary. This is my career, and I spent a lot of money getting into this business. I'm not about to mess it up. There's a little baller here for you trying to get a little something done. So yeah, good for you, Shanika. So what I was gonna say is, I think the biggest takeaway from tonight, he had a witness, but he was so frustrated. I bet he was, because whatever he was trying to get done, you was giving him a hard time. So I'm sure that he was frustrated. It's not the first time and it won't be the last. And I'm just happy that you are he only want to pay you 15. Where are you located, Shanika? It was a marriage license. Oh, yeah, I can't notarize a marriage license for you and you ain't got no ID. Come on now. You're in Texas, okay. Yeah, I mean, how did he get the license? He had to have ID to get the license. Did they use a picture of his ID in his phone too? My goodness. Everybody just dropping the ball. And then when he got to you, he was looking like everybody else took it. Why you can't take it? Girl. Well, I'm happy that you weren't pressed for those $15. All right. That's ridiculous. So, guys, from those cases, the biggest takeaway is physical presence. Review the documents. You want to make sure that the name of the signatory is the name of the person that's standing before you. Willingness and awareness. Okay. We can't notarize for people who are not willing and aware. People with dementia, people under the influence of medication, drugs. No, we can't. Alcohol, we can't notarize for them. Okay. Don't notarize for friends just because they said you they buddy. It's not worth it. All right. It's just not. Make sure that everything checks out before you put your stamp on something, because your stamp that authenticates that you took an action. You willingly and awarely took action on that document, and you can be in trouble later on. Let's see. He said that he got pulled over like a couple of weeks ago and the police never gave him his license back. That doesn't make sense. I don't know, but I'm doing my NNA loan signing exam right now, so I kind of already spent a lot of money and I don't want to wait. Exactly, Shanika. Exactly. Don't nobody want to waste their money. You done put all this money into it, and ain't nobody trying to be losing all their hard-earned money on a person because they trying to do things their way instead of the way that we have to do it per our state guidelines. So I'm with you 100% on that. And good luck on your loan signing exam. I know you will do well because it sounds like you know exactly what you're doing, girl. Yes, me and Jay say good luck to you. All right, guys. So I really enjoyed going over those cases with you guys. And like I said, I really hope that you get the opportunity to go back and rewatch and definitely ask the questions, drop them in the comments. I want to know what you thought about those. Let me see, Shanika. And I accidentally did a notary the other day, and my label on my stamp was upside down, so I stamped upside down. I've done that before, but all you gotta do is stamp it again, right side up. It's perfectly fine. I've done that before. And I hate when I do that because I put the stamp there and I have to get into the habit of when I pick it up, look at it. Because otherwise I'll be going, signing and do. Oh, shoot. Don't feel bad. I've done that several times, Shanika. You'll be fine. And then once you do it, you're gonna be like, oh my God, that was so easy. You will do just fine, girl. I know it. And when you get done, I want you to share with me. Either share in this video comment or share in the community on YouTube and let all of us know that you did it, you passed, and now you are an NSA. Okay? All right, guys. Now I'm gonna get ready to go. I have 3 online notary appointments first thing in the morning. So I got to get these documents tagged for the last one that I just received. And then I'm going to go to bed because I've been up early. Okay, good, Shanika. Good. I've been up since early and I am tired. And I got to get up early again. So you guys have a good night. Thank you so much for joining in and giving me a good session because the last time I was live, nobody was on and I had nobody to talk to. And I was very frustrated from that. So thank you guys for joining me. All right. You guys have a good night. And I will talk to you guys again on Wednesday. Bye.